the consumption are nominal.
Прошли дельтовый спусковой 1. Набрали 77,6.
77.6.
Понял вас, прошли первый участок.
Okay, so the first
3 минуты
section is done. 3 minutes, 82.8047 is the acceleration, and CADO parameters are nominal. Consumption is nominal, 194. 315, 89.6.
Принято, отлично.
Copy, excellent.
минуты.
3.5 minutes, 96.2, 047.
About 1 minute to go in the burn.
Consumption is nominal.
Я вас понял.
I copy you, favore.
3:45.
3:45, 3 inaudible, 7.
минуты
4 minutes, 110.3, 047 is the acceleration, and CADO parameters are nominal. Consumption is nominal. We are standing by for the cutoff command in 30 seconds.
Ryzhikov through the interpreter, continuing to provide updates on the progress of the burn for flight controllers here in Korolyov. About 15 seconds left in the burn, everything looking good.
122 is the burn. In 2 seconds, we are standing by for the cutoff command. We have cutoff command.
The burn is complete. It appears to have been spot on. A 4-minute, 38-second engine firing, breaking the Soyuz's velocity by 128 meters per second as the spacecraft and its 3 occupants begin to trek back to the steppe of Kazakhstan, where the search and recovery forces are en route to greet them, with landing scheduled about 47 minutes from now.
The pressure in BO is 459, and it is...
And as planned, the orbital module is now in the process of being depressurized down to vacuum in preparation for the pyrotechnic separation of the 3 sections of the Soyuz. That module separation will take place at 5:55 a.m. Central Time. That would be about 21 minutes from now. You can see in this animation how the separation will take effect, followed by the buildup of heat around the Soyuz as it enters the Earth's atmosphere prior to the deployment of the parachutes, 2 pilot chutes, followed by a drogue chute, and then the main chute to significantly slow the Soyuz's descent rate down as it heads toward the landing site. The altimeter at the base of the Soyuz, once it rids itself of its heat shield, will sense the altitude and trigger the computers to fire the soft landing engines about 3 seconds before touchdown, which is expected at 6:21 a.m. Central Time, 5:21 p.m. at the landing site, 2 hours and 43 minutes before sunset. So as the Soyuz now makes its way back toward the Earth's atmosphere, the next major event is coming up in about 19 minutes. That will be the separation of the three sections of the Soyuz. The module separation occurs at an altitude of 140 kilometers above the Earth. About 3 minutes after module separation, the Soyuz will hit the first traces of the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of about 430,000 feet, and the three crew members strapped into their respective seats in the descent module, the surviving section of the three-section Soyuz, will begin to experience the first sensation of gravity since their launch last October 19th from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. By the way, down at the Cosmodrome, the next pair of space travelers to launch on a Soyuz vehicle, Russian cosmonaut Fyodor Yurchikhin and NASA astronaut Jack Fisher, are involved today in a variety of activities as they study their flight data file as part of their pre-launch training, and they're also monitoring the landing activities through a feed being provided to them down in Baikonur of NASA television from Mission Control in Houston.
Через 10 минут
Moscow, favor.
переводить к СС готовности, на борту порядок.
In 10 minutes we will
Стабильность 780. Бытовом отсеке.
get ready. So the air pressure is 780 and stable, and the pressure in BO is inaudible.
Принято.
Moscow is inaudible. Well, we have a lot of interference and also echo online. Moscow. Copy, please continue reporting, guys.
As you can discern from the VHF communications, space-to-space communications, as the Soyuz moves further and further away from the International Space Station on its descent, those communications are becoming a bit ratty. We do expect that. It's typical for a Soyuz entry. However, the crew, Ryzhikov in particular, is the Soyuz commander, being instructed again to keep talking to the flight control team here in Korolyov, keep providing updates and input as to the status of the Soyuz and the condition of the crew as they make their way back into the Earth's atmosphere.
Declaration. And don't use the secure device on the push-to-talk button. How copy? Favor, Moscow. How do you copy us? Favor, Moscow.
Favor, ответь МКС.
Moscow, favor.
Just under 40 minutes until the expected touchdown for the Soyuz MSO-2 on the steppe of Kazakhstan. As you can tell, communications have been lost between mission control here in Korolyov and the spacecraft as the Soyuz descends toward the first traces of the Earth's atmosphere. This is, again, typical of a Soyuz entry where communications first become ready and then are lost for a period of time until the Soyuz passes within range near the landing site of the large Antonov 26 fixed-wing aircraft that serves as a flying command and data relay center, transmitting both data and voice communications back to the Mission Control Center here in Korolyov.
Continue reporting. Copy, Moscow. Everything is good on board. Please don't forget to release or push to talk buttons before the separation favorite reminder. How copy? Copy, Moscow. We copy your recommendation. Excellent.
And the crew now back in communications with Mission Control. This will be in and out for a period of time now through the plunge back into the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay, tightened your straps? Yes, we did. Great.
That brief transmission from Sergei Ryzhikov on board the Soyuz, instructing his crewmates flanking him in the descent module to tighten their straps. They'll be closing the visor on each of their helmets prior to the time of module separation, which is coming up in about 11 minutes or so.
Make the ends of the straps available so that you can tighten the harness as fast as possible. Copy. Thank you, Sergei.
Here in the Mission Control Center in Korolyov, the Russian orbital mechanics specialists, following the completion of the deorbit burn, have passed on the coordinates for the landing site to the search and recovery forces so they may more precisely position themselves for the arrival of the Soyuz spacecraft. The expected landing target coordinates, 47.19 degrees north latitude, 69.35 degrees east longitude.
Favorite 10 minutes till the separation. How do you copy us?
Less than 34 minutes until the Soyuz touches down on the steppe of Kazakhstan. Everything going by the book so far. We're about 7.5 minutes away from the expected separation of the three sections of the Soyuz. Pyrotechnically, the Russian Mi-8 helicopters are airborne out of the Zhezkazgan airport, flying about 89 miles to the southeast to the landing site itself, where they will set up in a circular racetrack pattern to await the arrival of the Soyuz under its large main parachute and the three occupants in the descent module. Sergei Ryzhikov, again the Soyuz commander, flying under the call sign of Favora, is in the center seat of the Soyuz, flanked to his left by board engineer number 1, who is Andrei Borisenko. On Ryzhikov's right is Shane Kimbrough, the Expedition 50 commander of NASA. On board the International Space Station, the Expedition 51 crew, now in charge under the command of Peggy Whitson of NASA, along with her crewmates Oleg Novitsky of Roscosmos and Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency. They are awaiting the launch 10 days from now of the next pair of residents of the International Space Station, scheduled to launch April 20th from the Cosmodrome in the MS-04 Soyuz vehicle, that being Fyodor Yurchikhin of Roscosmos and Jack Fisher of NASA.
Moscow, favore. We closed the visors, the helmets. The route is in our hands and the push-to-talk button is released. Okay, copy, favore. The attitude on pitch is inaudible and we are standing by for the separation. Copy, favore. Now we will stand by for your report on the operation of separation program. In 3 minutes, we are standing by for the program separation start. Everything is good on board.
Voice and telemetry being received from the Soyuz spacecraft. You're hearing the interpreted version of the comments by Sergei Ryzhikov, the Soyuz commander, as we are approaching about the 4.5 minute mark until the module separation. It's the next major milestone on the route home for these three crew members. The pyrotechnic separation of the modules leaves the descent module pointed in the direction of travel as the crew prepares to enter the Earth's atmosphere with the heat shield ablating or repelling the heat that will build up around the Soyuz vehicle. about 3 minutes away from the anticipated separation of the three sections of the Soyuz vehicle. This will occur at an altitude of 140 kilometers or 87 miles above the Earth. As the Soyuz continues to hone in on its landing site on the steppe of Kazakhstan, touchdown expected just over 28 minutes from now.
Favore Moscow. How copy? We're standing by for the separation program operation, Favore. Favore Moscow. We hear a lot of static and we do not copy you.
Coming up on the 1 minute mark until the anticipated separation of the modules. We'll be standing by for confirmation of that from the crew on board the Soyuz, as well as the flight control team here in Korolyov. The crew has lowered its visors, everything in readiness for the pyrotechnic separation of the three sections of the Soyuz vehicle.
Favore, please get ready. Separation in 20 seconds.
Pyrotechnic circuits are enabled for the module separation. We're standing by for confirmation.
Separation. Inaudible. Favore, could you please report on the separation if you can?
The visiting vehicle officer reports the first burst of telemetry indicating a good separation of the three sections of the Soyuz vehicle.
Inaudible. Favore, this is MCC Moscow. 135940, and we hear only static from you.
Telemetry received here in the Russian Mission Control Center confirms a good module separation. The next event will be the entrance into the Earth's atmosphere by the Soyuz MSO-2. Again, everything continuing to trip along in great fashion. The entry interface, the first sensation of Earth's gravity against the bodies of the three returning crew members will occur at about 2.5 minutes from now at an altitude of 327,000 feet above the Earth.
Cover is open and we are closing RPV 1. Manual air supply, it is closed. Favore, if you can hear us, could you please confirm out? Favore, how do you copy us? How do you copy Moscow?
As the Soyuz nears the top of the Earth's atmosphere, communications are, of course, expected to be a bit choppy and should drop out altogether from time to time. The communications will improve, both through radio beacon and voice, from the Soyuz to the search and recovery forces at the landing site as the Soyuz approaches the vicinity of Kazakhstan.
Favore, if you can hear us, please continue reporting.
The Soyuz continuing to inform the crew, to keep them informed through any voice as communications will allow. The Soyuz should be in the Earth's atmosphere at this point, as we are about 5.5 minutes away from the anticipated command to open up the first set of chutes to begin slowing the Soyuz descent rate as it approaches the landing site. Touchdown expected 22 minutes from now.
Inaudible. $11:21.
Soyuz now entering the plasma regime. This is where peak heating begins to build up around the spacecraft. The transit through the plasma regime lasts about 5 minutes, and then about a minute after the crew exits the plasma regime should be the command to open up the parachutes. Again, you can see in this animation the Soyuz leaving the plasma regime, opening up the parachutes, and again the chutes open up in sequential fashion. 2 pilot chutes that extract a drogue chute followed by the main parachute as the spacecraft makes its way toward the landing site, its altimeter sensing its altitude above the Earth to trigger the firing of soft landing engines about 3 seconds before touchdown. During this brief transit through the period of peak heating, the maximum G-loads, force of gravity against the crew members' bodies, builds up to about 4 to 5 times that of Earth's gravity. The first sensation of gravity against their bodies since their launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome last October 19th. About 19 minutes until touchdown, everything continuing to go very, very well with this entry. All of the activities have unfolded in perfect fashion so far for the Soyuz vehicle. The hatch closed on the Soyuz while it was attached to the space station just before midnight Central Time on Sunday night. followed by its undocking from the Poisk module at 2:57 a.m. Central Time, 3:57 a.m. Eastern Time. The deorbit burn occurred as planned at 5:28 a.m. Central Time, a 4-minute, 38-second engine firing to slow the Soyuz down, allowing it to drop out of orbit for its descent back to Earth. Touchdown now expected just 15 minutes from now. The Russian search and recovery helicopters that are making their way toward the landing site just to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan should be in position just a few minutes from now, awaiting the arrival of the Soyuz.
Favore, this is Moscow. How do you read me? We read you loud and clear. Everything's nominal on board. We have 4.2 Gs now, and we are feeling good. And what is the pressure in ESA? Inaudible. We copy, Favore, thank you. Good luck to you on your landing. We are going to go LOS now. And soft landing to you guys.
So with that greeting of best wishes to the crew, the Russian flight controllers indicating that they are expecting to lose communications with the Soyuz until it is picked up through radio beacon near the landing site by the Antonov 26 relay plane that basically serves as a command center for the search and recovery forces at the landing site, some 89 miles to the southeast of Zhezkazgan. We are standing by for parachute deployment, and hopefully we'll be getting telemetry very soon on the confirmation of that key activity. That will be the final major milestone before touchdown.
In about a minute after you reach the end of the index.
This is Mission Control Korolyov. If everything has proceeded as planned, the parachutes should have begun their deployment sequence on the Soyuz MSO-2, with touchdown expected about 14 minutes from now, somewhat a few seconds less than 14 minutes. Everything has been going by the book, with the Soyuz entry towards its landing that is expected at 6:21 and 5 seconds a.m. Central Time. Hopefully, we'll be seeing some video from the landing site before long that will confirm all of that. In the descent module in the center seat is Soyuz Commander Sergei Ryzhikov, completing his first flight into space of 173 days, flanked to his left by Andrei Borisenko, and to his right by Shane Kimbrough. Here's our first video from an all-terrain vehicle at the landing site, showing the Soyuz MSO-2 vehicle under its main parachute. Touchdown expected about 12 and a half minutes from now. And for those watching this live feed of the Soyuz descending under its parachute, the smoke you're seeing is the venting of hydrogen peroxide, which is a normal occurrence as the Soyuz comes out of the region of the Earth's atmosphere heading toward its landing site. So again, what you're seeing is the normal venting of hydrogen peroxide from the propulsion system on the Soyuz MSO-2 spacecraft. Time to touchdown is about 12 minutes from now. Everything has gone by the book with the Soyuz. A short time from now, we are expecting the Soyuz to regain communications through the Antonov 26 fixed-wing aircraft that is flying in the vicinity of the landing site as the main cog of the command and control for the search and recovery forces. 8 Russian Mi-8 helicopters are now in the vicinity, flying in a racetrack pattern around the landing site, awaiting the arrival of Ryzhikov, Kimbrough, and Borisenko. And that is the jettisoning of the heat shield at the base of the Soyuz. This is video that we are not accustomed to seeing this early in the descent process. That heat shield being jettisoned to expose the base of the Soyuz descent module, its altimeters, and its soft landing engines. While we watch this spectacular video of the descent of the Soyuz MSO-2 under its main parachute, flight controllers have relayed up to Oleg Novitsky aboard the International Space Station that everything is going perfectly and that the crew is in excellent condition. We are coming up on about the 8-minute mark until touchdown on a cloudless day on the steppe of Kazakhstan. A spectacular view of the Soyuz MS-02 under its main parachute after it barreled through the Earth's atmosphere. G-forces on the crew building to about 4.3 times that of Earth's gravity, we are told. But a spectacular angle here from cameras that are flying in the vicinity of the landing site. We are also expecting video from all-terrain vehicles at the landing site as the crew is helped and extracted from the vehicle following touchdown. Everything has gone by the book, however, with all of the activities and communications, in fact, between the Mission Control Center here in Korolyov and the crew on board the Soyuz has been not bad, considering that from time to time they can be disrupted and choppy by the speed of the descent by the Soyuz through the Earth's atmosphere. However, communications have been fairly solid all the way down, and Sergei Ryzhikov, the Soyuz commander, has provided updates to the flight control team here in Korolyov. On a cloudless Monday afternoon on the steppe of Kazakhstan, we are about 6 minutes away from touchdown to complete a 173-day, 73.2 million-mile mission for Shane Kimbrough, Andrei Borisenko, and Sergei Ryzhikov. Continuing to be thrilled by this video of the Soyuz descending under its main parachute. We received video almost right after the deployment of the chute. And we saw the jettisoning of the heat shield on the Soyuz. You're looking up right at the bottom of the spacecraft where the altimeter that is feeding altitude information into the onboard computers and the soft landing engines are located. The spectacular video you're watching indicative of the proximity of the search and recovery forces to the landing site itself, meaning we're expecting almost a precise bullseye touchdown for the Soyuz MS-02, landing scheduled about 3.5 minutes from now. Less than 3 minutes until touchdown, everything proceeding on track as we are anticipating an on-time touchdown for the Soyuz MSO-2 and its 3 crew members, completing the 6-month journey of Expedition 50 on board the International Space Station. Good telemetry being received by the search and recovery forces at the landing site, about 89 miles to the southeast of the town of Jezkazgan on the south-central steppe of Kazakhstan.
We copy. Thanks.
Моряк. Так, забываем локти расположить так, чтобы сустав был немножко выведен.
Remember to locate your elbows as per instructions.
800.
We have 800.
As you can see, a pair of Russian Mi-8 helicopters flying in front of the long-range camera that is tracking the final moments of the flight of the Soyuz MSO-2, which was launched atop a Soyuz booster from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan last October 19th. The crew now bracing for touchdown that is coming up within the minute.
We're going to stop talking.
And touchdown is now confirmed. Touchdown confirmed at 6:20 and 35 seconds a.m. Central Time, 7:20 and 35 seconds a.m. Eastern Time. The Soyuz spacecraft has touched down. You saw it all the way down, almost from the start of the parachute deployment. It appears as
This is the primary audio circuit for the Reuters live service. This is the primary audio circuit for the Reuters live.
Не, ну он меня спрашивает, я ему отвечаю, понимаешь? Не спрашивал, я бы молчал. А все остальное... Можно и затычек пометить, понимаешь, согласно в Карелии, вообще место прекрасно. Можно на Риан-Марле. Еще лучше. Отъезжаешь, вот тебе Печора, вот тебе речка, вот тебе море 200 километров.
Minutes 110.3, 047 is the acceleration, and KDU parameters are nominal, consumption is nominal. We are standing by for the cutoff command in 30 seconds.
Ryzhikov, through the interpreter, continuing to provide updates on the progress of the burn for flight controllers here in Korolyov. About 15 seconds left in the burn, everything looking good.
122 is the burn. In 2 seconds, we are standing by for the cutoff command. We have cutoff command.
The burn is complete. It appears to have been spot on. A 4-minute, 38-second engine firing, breaking the Soyuz's velocity by 128 meters per second as the spacecraft and its 3 occupants begin to trek back to the steppe of Kazakhstan, where the search and recovery forces are en route to greet them, with landing scheduled about 47 minutes from now.
The pressure in BO is 459, and it is...
And as planned, the orbital module is now in the process of being depressurized down to vacuum in preparation for the pyrotechnic separation of the 3 sections of the Soyuz. That module separation will take place at 5:55 a.m. Central Time. That would be about 21 minutes from now. You can see in this animation how the separation will take effect, followed by the buildup of heat around the Soyuz as it enters the Earth's atmosphere prior to the deployment of the parachutes, 2 pilot chutes, followed by a drogue chute, and then the main chute to significantly slow the Soyuz's descent rate down as it heads toward the landing site. The altimeter at the base of the Soyuz, once it rids itself of its heat shield, will sense the altitude and trigger the computers to fire the soft landing engines about 3 seconds before touchdown, which is expected at 6:21 a.m. Central Time, 5:21 p.m. at the landing site, 2 hours and 43 minutes before sunset. The module separation occurs at an altitude of 140 kilometers above the Earth. About 3 minutes after module separation, the Soyuz will hit the first traces of the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of about 430,000 feet, and the 3 crew members strapped into their respective seats in the descent module, the surviving section of the 3-section Soyuz, will begin to experience the first sensation of gravity since their launch last October 19th from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. By the way, down at the Cosmodrome, the next pair of space travelers to launch on a Soyuz vehicle, Russian cosmonaut Fyodor Yurchikhin and NASA astronaut Jack Fisher, are involved today in a variety of activities as they study their flight data file as part of their pre-launch training, and they're also monitoring the landing activities through a feed being provided to them down in Baikonur of NASA television from Mission Control in Houston. So as the Soyuz now makes its way back toward the Earth's atmosphere, The next major event is coming up in about 19 minutes. That will be the separation of the three sections of the Soyuz.
The consumption are nominal.
Прошли дельтовый спусковой 1. Набрали 77,6.
77.6.
Понял вас, прошли первый участок.
Okay, so the first
3 минуты.
section is done. 3 minutes, 82.8047 is the acceleration, and KDO parameters are nominal. Consumption is nominal, 194. 315, 89.6.
Принято, отлично.
Copy, excellent.
минуты.
3.5 minutes, 96.2, 047.
About 1 minute to go in the burn.
Consumption is nominal.
Я вас понял.
I copy you, favore.
3:45.
3:45, 3 inaudible 7.
Четыре минуты 110.